So, how's it going? I know it's a pretty small class today, but I just wanted to say hello. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm going to move back a little bit, the chat here. Just say hey. Just say hey, who's all here? Where are you signing in from today? We got a Katie, who's directly to my right. So thank you, Katie. Hello, nice to be here. Yes. And Kristen, yes, hi. Kristen, you've been with us for so many of these classes. It's amazing to see you back on here. So we had a little technical difficulty before we kind of started this whole thing today. So we may have some people coming in and out. Just, we'll do our best to kind of manage that. We've got Katie on the tech side of things. So since it's just super tiny for right now, let's just do a quick check-in. How are we doing? How are we acclimating to the rhythm of things? We've been in this for a little bit of time now, so I think the word normal has been coming up. Our rhythms are kind of becoming more established. So what does that look like for you? Let's take a minute, just distill that out. What is your life looking like these days? We're waiting for everyone to answer. I can just even give a little insight into my life. So it's been really, really interesting. I've been kind of holding these two planes in my understanding. There's the plane of understanding that this is a global tragedy. This is something it's unprecedented. The economy is suffering, families are suffering, communities are suffering. Some communities far greater than others. And I understand that reality. That's always at the tip of my just understanding of what's happening right now. And then the other plane of existence is that on the personal level, I'm experiencing some pretty enormous growth, both as a practitioner, as an artist, as a person. I've been filling my time in the way that I've always wanted to fill my time, with pursuits and interests, and not having so many deadlines and not having to run to so many different places has been extremely healing for me personally. And so I feel this duality of pretty good, while understanding that that's just my seed of understanding, that's my seed of experience, and that seed of experience is in like a very different universe. All right, so from Katie, having to make a working schedule week by week. Yes, been able to really make time for both my family and for work life. I love what I do, so this is really a moment for me to blossom in my career, as well as giving my kids my eyes and full attention as well. I love that. Yeah, I feel like that's probably a very, especially for people who have children, especially small children at home, I think there's a lot of family connection that's happening, even though there's also a lot of family connection happening all the time. There's a lot of different layers to that. So Kristen, feel free to chime in whenever you like, or just keep it to yourself, totally up to you. We're fine with either. Anyone else who's joining us maybe now, feel free to chime in whenever you like. And we'll move into the body of our class today. So we are re-exploring the concept of harnessing rest and relaxation. You had a class with me the first week that we offered all this whole new line of virtual programming. Then you went with Katie for the next week, and now we're back with me. So it's been interesting cycling back to these different concepts, and I think part of that is highly reflective of what's happening in our lives right now. We have a lot of the same thing a lot of the time. You know, the environment is kind of static right now. The days feel kind of static right now. But where real creativity is able to sneak in is to find these different perspectives within these restrictions. So cycling back to these concepts, what is rest? What is relaxation? What is harnessing? As I was thinking about this a few days ago, as I was making my way towards this class, I was thinking about harnessing is almost like a leveling out, right? You are able to assess your environment, assess what you're looking at. You notice that some things are way too full, some things are way too empty. So the act of harnessing then is essentially the act of balancing. So bringing the stasis to your environment, to your inner environment, to your outer environment. So what I want to do today is kind of start to embody this sense of duality, you know, embody the sense of duality in the stasis, in the oneness of the wholeness of your body. So we're going to be working with one side of your body into the other side of the body, taking a moment to feel the totality of that, and also understanding and being patient with the fact that we are not symmetrical beings. I think that a lot of the times, you know, you expect your one side of the body to do exactly what the other side does, but the skeletal structure does not speak that language. It does not understand that. So I want you in this moment to just take a minute and think of these big esoteric out there concepts of balance, of harness, of leveling. And I want you to take your next breath and bring all of that into the metaphor of your body. The fact that you have two different sides, the fact that you have multiple different experiences all happening in the same plane of your physical structure. Okay, so the first embodiment of that is a pranayama. So it's a breathing technique known as nadi shodhana. So that is a balancing out of not only your nasal passages, but as a byproduct of that, your brain hemispheres as well. This is an incredible breathing practice if you're feeling really stressed, if you're feeling like you're in a state of tension or panic and you're not able to calm it down. This is also really great if you're having any trouble focusing. I had a day yesterday where I could not get my head straight, and a lot of breath work and throwing this practice in there really helped me to clear the cobwebs out of the way. So this is an incredibly powerful tool to have in your back pocket. So I'm going to take my glasses off for this. So before we begin, a little housekeeping. Make sure that you have your mat or your designated floor space. For this class, we're going to need a blanket or a towel. We're going to need 2 yoga blocks or pots of similar height. They don't have to be the same exact height, but if you at least have 2 that you can kind of work with, just have that handy. For any of my prenatal mamas, anybody who's had any blood pressure concerns, or anybody with limited flexibility, or just any kind of pain in terms of flexibility, grab your chair with no armrest, put that up at the top of your mat, just like I've got back there. Okay, if you are gonna follow along with our playlist, this is a perfect time to start that up. If you'd like to have your own music or just silence, now's the time to make that choice. And then start to rest your eyes down halfway. And then if you're comfortable, rest your eyes completely. And just feel the breath moving very slowly down into your lungs, in and out through the nose, or in and out through the mouth. Just let your body do what it needs to. Let this mechanism of your breath activate with the power of your focus, right? So you're breathing all day long, whether you're thinking about it or not. This is your opportunity to really encourage those deep, nourishing breaths in and out. No need to count, no need to push too hard. Just find that extra sip right as you take your deep breath in. And then very gently, very slowly, even gracefully, feel your breath rolling out. So to notice this sense of poise that arrives when you focus on your breath. So to invite that sense of poise into your practice, letting this moment be carved away from everything else, letting this be a very protective space. Maybe not even a physical space. Maybe you've got kids everywhere, maybe you've got pets everywhere, maybe you've got plants everywhere. Physical space is whatever. There's not a whole lot we can do about that. It's the inner mental space that I want you to start to harness some control over. And so inviting that sense of poise into your practice today. And now moving into our pranayama breathing. So if you need to open your eyes to see anything that I'm doing, just let your gaze be really soft and then return back to this closed eye position whenever you feel comfortable. You'll hear my voice, you'll be able to know that I'm up here on the screen for you if you need it. But I encourage you to take this practice with your eyes as close to closed or as fully closed as possible. So a couple different ways to access our pranayama breathing. You can, so first start with your right hand up, left hand down, and then take your pointer finger and thumb, rest those together, rest that hand down in your lap, palm facing up. Now, first way is that you can take your pointer and middle finger, curl that in towards your palm, leaving your ring and pinky finger free with your thumb free. So we're going to be plugging the different nostrils here. So you can either do that, or you can take your pointer finger and middle finger, place that up on your forehead, and have this kind of swinging mechanism in between. Totally up to you. It depends on where the comfort level is in your fingers, honestly. I prefer this way, but just for the sake of keeping my face open, I'm going to bring my fingers down. So we're going to plug our right nostril first. And just take a minute. So even though we're focusing on our nostrils here, I want you to roll your shoulders down. It's very easy to kind of crunch up and forget about the rest of your body. I want you to very much be aware of the whole structure. Remember, the whole entire experience. We're leveling out the whole experience. Your eyes as close to closed as possible as you plug your right nostril, seal the lips, exhale everything out. So clean slate. Now take a deep breath in. Find the bottom of your lungs for 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hold both nostrils together. So you're holding your breath in for 3, 2, 1. Now release your right nostril rather. Exhale all the way out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now as you breathe in through the right nostril, inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 3, 2, 1. Release the left, exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a deep breath in, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 3, 2, 1. Exhale through the right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Plug the nostrils, 3, 2, 1. Exhale through the left, 3, 2, 1. Now keep moving with your inner metronome. Inhaling for 5, holding for 3, exhaling opposite nostril through 5. If you feel comfortable with this, you can start adding counts to your inhale, to your hold, and to your exhale. Okay? So take this at your own pace. I'm going to watch the clock. I want you to really let yourself sink into this experience. As you're breathing, do you notice that one nostril is performing at a higher rate than the other nostril? At any given point during the day, one nostril is dominant. So is that happening to you right now? If you have a cold, can you do this without letting yourself be frustrated? Can you just feel into the experience of the fact that you are asymmetrical? Okay. Finding your counts. Deeply breathing in. Feeling the fullness as you hold. Deeply breathing out. And now take this cycle one more time. One more inhale into a hold. One final exhale. Remove your hand from your face. Find that pointer finger to thumb. Lower that down into your lap. Both hands together. And just breathe evenly now through both nostrils at the same time. Sometimes you feel almost a nice fuzzy headiness about this pose, and that is because you've increased the oxygen to the hemispheres of your brain. And so just lean into that. Feel your breath moving. Feel that evenness, however big or small, creeping in now. And then very slowly open up your eyes, and we will turn to our first pose. So there's some minor construction here. First of all, if you are joining us and you are pregnant, you're in your second or third trimester, what I'd like you to do is take a bolster or a few rolled up towels, make a ramp. So the bolster with a block or a pot underneath, you're going to be a little bit more elevated. For the rest of us, we're going to lay flat against the ground. So for all of us, take your blanket, take your towel, and we are going to roll that up into a long cylindrical shape. Once you have that shape, you're going to press your feet together, soles of the feet together, knees facing out. Bring that blanket or towel on top, and then slide the ends of that towel or blanket right underneath of your ankles. So this is going to prevent any kind of hyperextension out through your hips. Bring your chin in towards your chest and very slowly begin to lower your spine down against the ground or against the ramp. Press down against your elbows and your shoulders, and lift your pelvic bowl slightly, and just feel your back, the whole length of your spine resting down against the floor. Open your palms up towards the ceiling. Draw your chin very gently in towards your chest and feel the back of your neck begin to expand and extend. Deep, deep breath out here. Start to really find your connection to each exhale. Finding your connection to the gravitational pull, the natural gravitational pull that exists around us all day long. Each time you exhale, feel your tailbone, the entirety of your spine, back of your skull, chin in towards your chest, all gently descending down. Thinking of this pose as your arrival into the body of movement, the body of breath. Gently noticing which sides of the body are able to access this pose a little bit easier, a little bit faster, with less resistance. Which side of the body has a little bit more resistance? Can you just access this experience without placing a value judgment on it? Can it just be that your left leg is a little bit stiffer? Can it just be that maybe today your hips don't really feel like cooperating? Just find your experience, let it happen. Be the observer. Each time you breathe out, let your body sink a little bit deeper down into the floor. Release any tension, release any gripping. Sinking all the way down. Next breath in, very slowly fold your knees in towards one another. You can leave that blanket or towel right where it is. So to bend in towards your hips, bring your knees up to the ceiling. Maybe even hug them in towards your chest for a moment. Just keep your head down against the ground. And then we'll all place our feet back against the ground, heel toe the feet out, about hip width distance, maybe even a little bit further. On your exhale, slowly windshield wiper your knees over towards your left, and sink your gaze over to the right. Inhale, knees back towards center, gaze towards center. Exhale, knees over to the right, gaze over to the left. Inhale through center. Exhale, knees to the left, gaze to the right. Inhale through center. And exhale, knees to the right, gaze to the left. And just keep following the rhythm of your breath here. Moving as slowly as you can, feeling your body making its way through space, letting each breath be the metronome for your motions. And then the next time that your knees and your gaze move towards center, pause. Just bring that blanket back on top of your feet as you inhale to glide your knees back in towards center. So the blanket's resting on top of your feet. And just wiggle your lower back out. Make sure that it's pressed down against the floor. And then take your hands to either side of your blanket and loop the blanket around your right foot. Lower your left foot down towards the ground. On your next inhale, leading with your right heel, inhale to lengthen your leg. And you can keep your left knee high, you can lengthen it down against the ground, whatever feels best for you and for your body, from this side of your body in particular. And either root the sole of your left foot or the heel of your left foot down against the ground and start to draw circles with the heel of your right leg. You can start by swinging in towards center and then out towards the side, or out towards the side and in towards center. Whatever feels best to you, just pick one and stick with it for now. You'll notice my left leg's moving around a little bit, so I gotta start rooting that heel so that I can localize the movement out from the hip and up through the heel. And again, sinking into your breath. We opened up those nasal passages earlier, so utilize that. Utilize that openings. And then start to reverse the direction of your circle. If you were starting out, start in now. If you were starting in, start out. Let's go in the opposite direction. And then pause, take a deep breath, press your right heel up to the ceiling, fully lengthen through the back of your right leg. As you exhale, melt your knee down in towards your chest, bring your left knee to meet your right, and then switch. Sole of the left foot now inside of your blanket, right knee, either tented, right foot towards the floor, or lengthening the right leg all the way out. And start to draw those lazy circles with your left heel. Rooting down through your right heel or your right foot. Notice that it wants to dance around. Keep resisting. Localize the movement right to the hip socket. And then start to take opposite direction. Putting on that observer's perspective again. What's the difference between each side of your body? Where do you have more access? Where do you have less access? Remember, nothing's bad or good, it simply is until we put a judgment on it. So we're trying to avoid that for the duration of this practice. And then pause. Press high through your left heel. Curl the toes down as you lengthen through your left leg. As you exhale, bring both knees in towards your chest. And we'll slowly roll over to one side. As you press down against the floor, inhale to rise up to sit. And slide your blanket over to the side, to somewhere where you can reach it later. And bring your hands to heart center. Just passing through, take a deep breath in. And release. Slowly opening your eyes. Now, I want you to reach for either your yoga block or a pot with a little bit of height. So we're going to apply that now underneath of our seat. So a couple of options here. If you are joining us, you have limited flexibility, you had any history of knee injury, or you just have any pain in your knees, or you are pregnant, we are going to take something called fire log pose. So that where you put one leg down on the bottom, you stack your other leg on top, okay? For the rest of us, we're going to take something called Gomukhasana, cow face pose, just in the legs. So that is applied by placing one knee forward, stacking the other knee on top, okay? So when you apply Gomukhasana, you have an option with your heels. If you'd like to reduce this kind of fiery, crunchy feeling in on the sides of your hips, through your sciatic nerve, through your like T-band, all that stuff, you're gonna bring your heels in. For those of us who would like to kind of explore what that feels like, you're going to play with bringing your heels a little further out. So you'll feel that immediately, okay? So be be cautious and be curious about your sensations here. And be honest. Most importantly, be honest with what your findings are coming up as. Okay, so if we're pregnant, if we have knee injury, if we have knee sensitivity, we got fire log. For the rest of us, we got cow face pose. So we're going to take this sensation a little bit deeper, okay? Bring both hands down either against the floor or against your hips. If the floor feels too far away, if this is yelling at you, just bring your hands right to your hips. And we'll all bring our chin down in towards your chest. Taking a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Start to find gravity here. Just as when we were laying down, let each breath out remind you of this constant force, this gravitational pull that's always with us. So let the exhale find that gravity. Feel your body sink into that sensation. Now, either choosing to stay here, this may be exactly where you want to explore for today, or deciding to walk your hands a little forward and start to hinge at your hips. Okay, so this is where the self-study comes into play. You can take this as far forward as you like, lengthening through the back of the spine. You can choose to slide this block or pot out from underneath and take this right against the floor. And this goes for whether you're in fire log or you're here with us in Gomukhasana. What we're doing here is activating the sides of the legs, so it's not quite even. One is on top, one is underneath. So we're exploring the sensation of the top leg right now. Obviously, the bottom leg is very much along for the ride. But as you breathe and you release, breathe and release. I just want you to be your own explorer. What's happening here in your legs? What can you release? Where can you let go of some control? What happens in your mind? What's sparking? Is it going in a totally different direction than the current moment? Can you bring that back in? Make it a part of the experience? Just find your breath and continue to be the observer. Take another deep breath in. As you exhale, press your hands down against the floor or down against your hips. Slowly begin to lift your chin, lift your head. Lifting your top leg up, start to extend that forward. Let the bottom leg follow and slide your block or your pot off to the side now. So taking a seat right against the floor. Press down through your heels, curl your toes in towards your shins. And then again, take an exhale, feel your chin drawing down to your chest. Feel your spine curving from the base all the way up through the skull. Again, opposite of straight lines in yoga here. We're going for the natural curve of nature right now. Just let your body slowly, slowly, slowly drip down towards the top of your thighs. Feel that lengthening happening with gravity against the floor. And as you feel yourself breathing out, noticing one side of the body feels different now, right? One side of your legs feels a little more open, a little more activated. What does that feel like? And as you inhale, roll your head back on up. And then we'll take the opposite side. So again, starting with your height, slide that height or the block or the pot underneath. And then whatever leg was on top, we're going to put that underneath now. So whether you're moving into fire log pose, that means the leg that we are just working with is now the support leg, that's on the bottom, or you're in Gomukhasana. So find your points of your knees pressing down, and then start to play with the positioning of your heels. Does it feel more accessible with the heels in, or can you sneak your heels out a little bit? Okay, so remember, you are the explorer in this pose. Self-study. Honesty is everything here. Feel your legs opening up through the sides. Bring your hands either towards your hips or towards the ground, and notice, is it different? Is the ground closer on this one or further away? Right? You're the observer. As you exhale, bring your chin in towards your chest. And gravity find you each time you breathe out. And either choosing to stay right here or beginning to walk a little bit deeper with the hands into this fold. As your legs start to activate, Resist the urge to let your mind go too far out of balance. It will happen, it's normal. Just constantly practicing, guiding your thoughts back into the moment, back into this experience. At any point you feel like you're pulling or you're pushing or this feels super uncomfortable, back off a little bit. You want to feel it. This is very activating. You don't ever want to feel any pain or sharpness, okay? Again, self-study, be the observer, being honest, what's happening, and how is it different from side to side? Letting your breath smooth out any control, any gripping, any unnecessary energy going in any other direction than your legs being pressed down against gravity. Now is the time to slide that support system out from underneath if you would like to take it a little deeper. Take another deep breath in. Cleansing, clearing breath out. And then start to slowly walk your hands in. Your hands are against your hips. Start to look up. We'll all look up. Using your top leg, lift it off of your support legs, sliding it forward. Just pedal out the heels. And then find that positioning, heels rooting down, toes curling back in towards the shins. This time we'll breathe in, opening the arms wide. As you exhale, let your arms and hands gently fall, gentle curve of the spine. And moving with the shapes of nature. And as you exhale, slowly, slowly begin to lift your head high. Now moving into our second pose here, I guess third. If you are somebody with really sensitive knees, or you're somebody for whom flexibility is painful, I want you to take it up into the chair. Facing forward, hands on your knees. For the rest of us, we are going to get into a moving squat position. So your heels can be up away from the ground. If you do prefer to have a little bit of support underneath your heels, place your blanket under there now. When we move to a static squat position, we will be using a support system. So no fear, you will have something to help you stay in place. If you're joining us in the chair, I want you to open your knees wide. So about right off the corners of the chair, bring your heels onto the chair legs, okay? You can bring your hands right in front of you or up in a heart center. And what we're going to start doing is rocking from side to side. So rolling onto your toes, bring your knees down, and then the opposite side. Let your head be free, and just kind of bring that energy in that really little babies have, where they're just figuring out how the mechanism of their bodies work. Nothing really has a purpose yet. They're just a function. So let your body, let these movements be a function. Again, if you're in the chair, you can really get into this as well. So swinging your knee forward and then over to the side. You can roll your head here. You can bring your hands to heart center. Same mechanism, different application. And then start to pause. If you're against the floor, and this is a really comfortable place for you, and you'd rather not have any support system, feel free to stay right here. For the rest of us, we are going to place either a block or a pot right underneath the lower back, and just whatever height feels best. If you need a lot of height, just keep finding stuff, keep stacking stuff. You can find the height that you need. Maybe you can just place a blanket right on top, just find that height, find those building blocks. If you're joining us in a chair, heels against the legs of the chair, open the knees out to the side, hands at heart center. And just take a few breaths here. Let your body settle into stillness. As you feel your hands pressing to heart center, feel the shoulders roll down the back, feel the spine lengthen all the way up, feel the crown of the head blooming towards the ceiling, towards the sky. As you breathe in, feel your knees extending away from each other. And as you breathe out, feel the length all the way through the inseam of the thigh. It's very standard for the torso to want to roll forward and kind of collapse in this pose. Resist that urge, right? Find the strength and the length of the spinal cord to keep guiding your heart open and back. On your next exhale, lower your right hand either down towards the mat or simply out into the air if you're joining us on a chair. Look over your left shoulder. On the inhale, leading with the elbow, reach your left arm high. And now feel your right knee hugging into your right arm pressing your right leg open. So finding that dual sense of tension. And as you feel into that tension, let that be the anchor for your left fingertips to rise even higher. Feel that sweeping motion opening through the front and center of your chest. And as you exhale, sweep the left hand over towards your right knee, down towards the left. Pressing through your spine, inhale to roll up, press the hands to heart center. Arrive back to neutral, arrive back to center. Keeping your right hand as it is, lowering your left hand either down to the floor or off to the left. Feel the elbow pressing into the left leg. Looking over your right shoulder, begin to grow your right arm high. Lead with the elbow and with the fingertips. Again, feel into that magnetization. The left arm pressing against the left leg pressing back against the arm. Finding that length, the sweeping from the center of the chest and out through the fingertips. Different side of the body, same experience. As you exhale, sweeping the right hand over to the left, off to the right. Inhaling up through center, hands press. And take that 2 more times, 1 on each side. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Lowering the right hand. Inhale to lift through the left. As you exhale, sweep the left hand over to the right. the left, chin to chest. Inhale to slowly roll up. Hands to heart center. Exhale, extend the left arm down. Looking over the right. Inhale to reach the right arm high. Exhale, sweep the right arm over to the left. And down towards the right. Inhale to move to center. And exhale. If you're joining us against the ground, so to press into your heels. Bring your hands down against the floor. Slowly begin to rise to the forward fold. If you're joining us in a chair, you can step off and join us in the forward fold. If there are any blood pressure concerns, or any stage of natal, any stage of flexibility, if you know that forward folding is not right for your body, return back to your chair. Okay, so you're either forward fold, hands against the seat, resting the torso down, or forward fold against the ground, slight bend of the knees, feeling the torso spilling all the way forward. Take a few breaths here. Feel your body slightly acclimating to gravity. So this is the first time we've been standing so far. What does that feel like? Which leg feels a little bit more activated here? Which foot feels a little bit more firmly rooted to the floor? As you breathe in, which lung feels like it's a little bit more awake right now? Gently shake your head yes. Gently glide your head no. And on the next inhale, rise into a half lift. Now you're either pressing your hands against your shins or you're pressing your hands right underneath your shoulders against the seat on your chair. Feel your shins pressing back into your hands, hands against your shin. And when you feel your hands pressing against the chair, so the energy of the chair unmoving in space, right? You're pressing your hands down, the chair just remains right there. Now, if you are against the floor and you do not have any knee concerns, we're going to exhale, lower down, press your left foot back, and then lower your left knee. Now, if you have sensitive knees, you would like a little padding, you can flip your mat up, you can slide a blanket right underneath, just take a comfortable position here so that your knee feels comfortable. If a knee on the ground is not for you today, you're going to find your chair, hands up high, stepping that left foot back. So we're just going to stay in an upright position, using the strength of the chair to maintain this pose. So you're either here, or we're all the way down here. So feeling yourself acclimate, right? Heel toe the right foot over to the side. You want a wide berth with your hips. Press into your fingertips. If at any point the floor feels kind of far away, this is a great opportunity to grab either your blocks or some pots, something to give your torso a little bit of height. And then start to press your right hip back, leveraging your left hip forward. So finding as much neutrality as we can in the pelvic floor. Pressing your left hand either against the floor or against your chair. On the inhale, lift your right arm high. Feel your right hip reaching back, left hip reaches forward. As you press your hand either against the chair, against the floor, or against any kind of lift, pot, block, whatever, feel your hand, your right fingertips growing high towards the ceiling. And just find your breath, letting the breath move slowly in and out of this pose. Feel into the activation, and then let that start to embody itself through you. Take one more breath here. And exhale to lower your right hand down. If you're joining us against the floor, tuck your back toes, lift your left knee. We'll all look up towards the top of our mat or the top of our chair, and either hop your left foot in or step your left foot to meet your right, returning back to our forward fold. Your version of a forward fold, whether against the chair or against the floor. Slight bend of your knees, a lift through the sits bones, a gentle descending of the crown of the head. And notice the activation points, what feels a little bit more open now, a little bit more heated, a little bit more awake. On the inhale, take your version of a half lift, either against the shins or down against your chair. On the exhale, find your version of forward fold, and now step your right foot all the way back. If you're joining us in the chair, continue to use the chair for leverage, keeping your back knee up. If you're joining us against the ground, take a moment to just find some padding underneath that back knee. And again, notice the differences in the side of your body. Is there some mechanism that you didn't use on your opposite side that would serve you on this side? Always be the observer, right? So again, you can apply blocks or pots. You need some height. Maybe your left foot needs to go a little further out than your right foot did. Let's take that moment, letting yourself settle into the pose. And once you've found the positioning, once you've found the mechanics that serve your body, gently press your left hip back. Feel that leverage the right hip forward. Again, striving for that neutrality in the pelvic bowl. And finding gravity, letting the exhale slowly sink your hips. Letting the gravity sensation calm you as you start to open and activate into these more challenging postures. Now pressing your right hand either against the chair, against the floor, or against any kind of prop. On your next inhale, lift your left arm high. Again, that sweeping motion from the center of your chest all the way out and up. Keep pressing your right hand all the way down or against the chair. Find that lift high through the fingertips. Can your hips sink a little deeper? Can you continue to find the neutrality in the pelvic bowl? And can you notice the different sides of the body, their different needs, their different language? Take one more breath here. And exhale, lowering your left hand back to the floor, the prop or the chair. Tuck your back toe, lift your back knee, look towards the top of your mat or towards the top of your chair, and either hop your right foot in or just step it to meet your left. Return back to your version of a forward fold. What feels activated? How do they differ? All in the same structure, just your body. On your next exhale, moving very slowly and carefully, bending your knees and finding your way back to the mat. Keeping your blanket or towel handy, we're going to open our left leg off to the side and then bring our right sole of the foot in towards the inner thigh. A couple of adjustments here. If your leg is really, really high and your right leg is really high up, I want you to take that blanket and give it some support. Okay? You don't need to feel like this is jerking all the way down. Just give it the support that it needs. If you feel like you're tilting forward a lot, take that same mechanism with the blanket. Just bring that underneath. Give yourself a little bit of height. Okay? So again, moment of self-study. Now as you press your right sole of your foot into the inner left thigh, find a tall seat. Again, that poise that we found when we were breathing slowly in the beginning of practice. Find that inner poise, the balance between both sides, that center point. Looking over your right shoulder, rest your left hand, palm facing up on your left leg. On the inhale, reach your right arm high. Again, notice what happens. Notice all the different negotiations that your body moves into when you find this lift. Check in with your left toes, make sure they're pointing towards the ceiling. And now as you exhale, begin to slide your left hand along your left leg, reaching your right arm over to the side. So you may notice happens is that your right hip and knee want to follow your fingertips. Resist that urge. Find the rooting down through the right hip on the inhale. Then on the exhale, then find the length. So inhale to root, exhale to lengthen. As you press your left hand against your leg, allow that to open the heart center. So that sweeping motion, yet again. Exhale, melting the right arm down, slide the left hand back up the left leg. Very slowly begin to switch. So extending through the right leg, bringing the left foot towards the center of the thigh. Do your mechanisms, whether that's sitting high in a blanket or something supporting your left knee. Only you know what you need, so just listen in. Right palm facing up, look over the left shoulder. On the inhale, reach the left arm high. And notice the negotiations. Are they different on this side of the body? With your toes pointing high on the right foot, take a deep breath in, reach a little higher through your left fingertips. As you exhale, begin to slowly move the right fingertips down the right leg and let the left arm follow. Keep pressing your right arm against the right leg. Sweep the center of the chest open. Finding your breath, settling in. And exhale to melt through the left elbow, slowly rise back to center. Bring both feet in for just a moment, hands to heart center. And then again, turn to your blanket. Open the blanket up. Find that cylinder. And then we are going to end exactly as we started. Placing the soles of your feet together first. Blanket over the soles of the feet, tucking underneath the ankles. And then begin to roll back. Open the arms wide. And as you settle back into this pose, full circle, back where we started. One final moment in your observer's perspective. What feels different here? Is it the quality of your thoughts? Quality of your breath? Is it the quality of your expectations? Maybe these changes are big. And maybe they're so small you can barely feel it. Whatever you've noticed, whatever observation you've made, start to sink that sense of poise. Right in the center of your realizations. To achieve a state of poise is to achieve a state of balance. Equal efforts, equal ease. And far after you leave the mat for this practice today, let that sense of poise travel with you. Take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, begin to fold the legs together, extend the legs long, taking your final resting pose of Shavasana. Maybe you want to take the blanket and roll it up over you. Maybe you want that blanket underneath your knees, maybe underneath your head. So again, take this moment, give your body what it needs. Allow this embodied sensation of balance and of poise to become you. There will always be things to adjust. There will always be things that slide out of balance. Your work will never be done. And in a way that's incredibly freeing, to remember that perfection is truly an illusion. To achieve a state of balance, there must always be a sense of observation and of rebalancing and rebalancing again. Your next breath in, be deep and long. And your next breath out, be cleansing and clearing. Start to rock your head from side to side. Run the tips of your fingers along the tips of your thumb. Flex through your feet, point through your toes. And roll over to one side, taking a fetal position, resting against the ground before you slide back into a seated pose. And take your time. Move slowly. We bow to the divine spark in each other and the divine spark in ourselves. We bow to the practice, both on the mat and off. Namaste. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today, whether now, in the present, or at some point in the future. Yeah, we will be doing a whole new slew of programming coming up. We're kind of mixing up the system, so definitely keep your eye on the mind body to see all of the new and really, really exciting classes that we have coming down the pipeline. It's really cool. We think it's going to be a little bit more fun and dynamic for a community, as well as fun and dynamic for Katie and I, so we're all pretty pumped about it. Feel free to reach out on email if you have any questions. You can always find that on the Elle website or on the Mind Body page as well. But from me to you, thank you so much, and we will see you next week.